Hey, everybody. Welcome into another episode of the Connection Loop podcast. We're super excited to have today Ian Koniak. He is on the episode. He has got tons of sales experience. He's the president and founder of Ian and Koniak Sales, Inc. and Untap Your Sales Potential, where he mentors and guides sales professionals and teams to their fullest potential in sales and in life by mastering a couple things: mindset, habits, and obviously the selling skills. So he's also a speaker, a trainer. He's led so many different national training workshops for Fortune 500 companies. He's done a lot. Ian, welcome into the podcast.
Great to see you, Rob. Nice to meet you and great to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So listen, let's update everybody. People that don't know you, I'm sure a lot of people do in the sales world, obviously, but a lot of our audience is entrepreneurs, sales leaders, managers, teams. So bring us up to date. How'd you get to where you are today?
Yeah, I spent 19 years in tech sales. I spent 10 years at Ricoh, which was a Japanese manufacturer, and I was one of their sales leaders. So I started in sales, going door to door selling copiers, and then I got into sales leadership, frontline, then managed managers, and then I left in 2010 when I was running, actually less in 2013, but I started running the whole SoCal organization, which was 70 reps and 10 sales leaders. So I was running a $60 million sales org. And I realized I was playing the wrong sport, copiers, printers, that type of, I'd say transactional sales, and people weren't printing as much. And we started using Salesforce, and I just, while everyone else was maybe flat or declining, I was growing the business about 30% year over year. And Salesforce was a big part of it, how I was managing my team, activity, pipeline, forecasting. And I want to work at this company. And so I just was determined to get in, and I ended up getting in there. And after 3 rejections, someone took a chance on me and got into tech sales directly, selling Salesforce.com in the enterprise space. Spent 9 years there, and it was kind of a roller coaster, but I ended up figuring it out, got to their number 1 global enterprise rep, cracked 7 figures multiple times, was able to retire from tech sales at 41 years old. And, I kind of talked about this preview, but my origin story for my company was I got stuck on a roller coaster upside down for 30 minutes. And
30 minutes, 3 minutes would be a long time. 30 minutes, probably thought no one was coming.
180 feet up, 18 stories. It was filmed. It was on YouTube. Wow. People were passing out. We were so freaked out. When I was up there, I just had my life kind of flashed before my eyes. And what I realized, it was a real come to Jesus moment for me, where I realized my whole life I had been self-serving and really been focused on just making money. And I had learned so much. I'd acquired a lot of wisdom. And I was just like, if I died right now, my life would have been a waste. I just got this big flash of, of clarity in that moment, that I need to serve other people. I need to share the gifts that I have with the world. I need to help other people, or else I've been selfish. And so I decided at that point that I was going to start serving. And I didn't have a coaching business per se yet, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to share my wisdom. So I started speaking. I started training at Salesforce. I started mentoring people. And then I started making videos on Instagram initially. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to make a video every day. And so I did this crazy 365-day challenge where I made a video every single day, short video, 1-2 minutes, just dropping a tip of the day. It was a tip of the day for the whole year. And during that year, a lot of stuff happened, but I got really good at marketing. I got really good at communicating. I got really disciplined and consistent with making these videos, because it was a commitment I made to myself, this 365-day challenge. And
Ian, what year was this? What year did you do
2019.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I got stuck in the roller coaster 2018. And in 2019, it was all about just serving. And I had no agenda other than to make a video every day to try and help people. So if I died, God forbid, I would have at least tried to help people. And that just took off, and it evolved. And a lot of people came up to me and they wanted me to start speaking, and they wanted me to coach. And all of a sudden people wanted to pay me for it. And within 2 years of that time, I had a side hustle that now became bigger than my income at Salesforce. So I said, hey, I can do this full time. And so I left Salesforce at 2021. And for the past 4 years, I've been running Ian Koniak Sales Coaching, which we rebranded to Untap Your Sales Potential, which is now the world's fastest growing tech sales coaching organization in the world. And we just finished 797 on the Inc. 5000 that came out this week. So we've experienced a rocket ship of growth, and it's just been a dream come true for me to be able to serve and get paid for it and change lives, not just change, the trajectory of their sales, but marriages and health. And we don't do just sales coaching. We coach life coaching as well. It's kind of bringing personal development to the world of tech sales. So I cannot be more grateful for the job I get to do and our clients, and just all kind of feels like a dream, to be candid.
That's amazing. What a great Salesforce journey. You know, what's funny is that commercial that came out with McConaughey, where he's in the Western outfit and he's talking about, AI being the new sales gold, and he's kind of down there. He should have been facing off with you because you're with them, and then you had your own company now, and it's like, who's going to draw first? A little bit of funny.
I could probably. Well, he's a pretty good salesman. I think he's got that natural swag for sure. But yeah, no, it's been awesome.
No, that's cool. So I would imagine for you, you talk about this a lot. You talk about the importance of the daily connection to the why, like daily, not just weekly, not yearly, not when it comes about, but the daily connection. So I would imagine for you, that's been a big push. And a lot of the people that, are in sales, I mean, you wake up and what's driving me? What's my North Star? Why am I doing this? So talk a little bit about that, because I know it's a big part.
I think it's not just salespeople. I think it's equally important for founders. I know you have a lot of founders and entrepreneurs that listen here. But one of the exercises I go through with my clients is we create a personal mission statement, and we actually use AI to do it. It assists greatly with it. Mine's right here. I just read it before, read it before this podcast. And if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing, the highs are going to be high, the lows are going to be low, and you're going to be very inconsistent. But if you have clear direction, and if you have clear purpose every day of why you have to work so hard, the obstacles, the challenges, all this stuff that kind of could derail you, it doesn't. And I found that the number one most important thing in entrepreneurship and in sales, frankly, is to keep the fire burning from within. And so for me, what I do is I reset my why every year. I'll give you a real example. My why right now is to retire by the time I'm 50. I'm 46, truly retire, have full financial freedom.
Yep.
And the reason I want to do that is I want to help people in ways that, are outside of just sales. I have overcome addiction. I've saved my marriage. I've made a lot of personal changes. I got baptized last year. I have a real calling to really show people what's possible if you do the deep work. And I want to help men live without shame, and I want to help everybody live life they are proud of and be the person that their partner and their kids deserve. And that's a little outside of the realm of sales coaching that I'm doing today. And so my goal is, I found myself like, this year kind of like counting down, like, 4 years to go, 3, and I lost the fire. Right. And I was like, I'm thinking, whenever you're thinking you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're not going to be all in. You're not going to be fully committed. So I'm like, well, I need to reset my why a little bit. And so rather than basically, I had some long talks with ChatGPT. I've been big on the AI train, and we actually built some AI for our coaching program. But I went to AI and I said, hey, I'm having some trouble finding motivation. I find myself counting the days until retirement. I want to be all in. Here's why I want to retire. Here's what I want to do. And I got this mission statement that said the next 4 years are holy. And this is not a countdown, it's a consecration. And the whole mission statement is how this is preparing me for whatever comes next. And the lessons, the trials, the training, building an audience, really expanding my reach and using coaching as a way to serve right now and not, and so I've been really leaning into the life coaching and the personal side and helping people with marriages. And it's like, I'm not waiting, I'm doing it now. So that's a great example of how you can reframe what you're doing as a stepping stone or launch pad to what comes next, and really be all in the current place that you are. And I just think it's such an important exercise that you always have to do. I usually do it too, a couple times a year. Whenever I feel that fire kind of dwindling, I'm like, because you got to keep the fire burning. That's the number one job as an entrepreneur or as a seller. Otherwise, you're going to be inconsistent. You're going to be like going through the motions, and you're just not going to do as good of a job, and your work quality is going to suffer as well.
It sounds like it's an amazing combination of being present, but also evolving at the same time. You're kind of like growing as you're being present. So you're not missing what's in front of you, but at the same time, like you said, it's from sales coaching and teaching and mentoring. And it's also kind of morphing at the same time.
It is. It is. It's not just like I'm going to be all in right now so I can be all out later. It's going to be I'm all in to create a pathway or a bridge to be able to exit. So a lot of my work now has been in building community and hiring other coaches and really creating a self-managing company and really working towards that 4-year goal. So because I have this as the goal and it's in front of me, and I know now I'm actually building something that doesn't need me per se, that could be sellable, that could be something that's, just a cash stream if I'm out in the world doing other things. I mean, I really think it's putting that in front of you, like, where are you going? What's your vision? And then you start to incorporate daily actions and decisions that get you closer to your vision. That's really it's not just why you're doing, it's what you're working towards. It's why you're doing what you're doing now, but it's also where you're going. That's part of the mission statement. That's very much part of the prompts that we have set up in Ask Ian GPT to be able to help our clients create the mission statement as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Knowing where the end zone is for the touchdown, where you want to go, but also the plays to get you there, and it's going to get you there in the meantime.
100%. And just keeping it top of mind. Just read it every morning. Just read your freaking mission statement and get that fire burning, because most people don't. Very, very few people do that, but we do, and it makes a huge difference in just how you show up every day, and how you show up determines the results you get.
Well, the growth that you talked about, I mean, the growth of your company is just amazing. And we always ask everyone in this time now, currently, I mean, my God, I mean, things change so quickly in terms of strategy, plans, companies that are hired, remember back when there were year contracts on something. Now it's like, okay, what's it looking like a month from now? Everybody is like pivoting, in terms of what's happening. So fleet of foot. So for you, in your company, what have you seen strategy-wise within 24, 25 as we head into 26 that's worked really well for you? Has it been social posting, a lot of referrals? Has it been leaning into certain things? Because the Instagram stuff that you did back in 2019, that was a daily thing. Boom, 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 boom. So what's kind of been working for you recently?
Ironically, I'm completely off Instagram, TikTok. We have someone posting my stuff there. I don't even log in. It's just kind of a little toxic in my opinion. But for me, it's always about making the main thing, right? And for me, the main thing is always lead generation and coaching. So it's like, deliver a great product, like make sure the clients are successful, but also always be marketing and bringing in new clients. So my main growth strategy, what's worked really well, I've been doing for like 4 years, and it's just a content consistent strategy. So every week, once a week, I do a newsletter, and the newsletter is now built up to about 20,000 sellers. And I make a video, and the video is whatever's current right now. So I'm always kind of like, I'm talking now a lot about AI and how to use AI to do point of views and research and, connect with clients deeper, and save a lot of that time, especially for enterprise sellers. So the video goes out once a week. It's on YouTube. It goes to the newsletter. It's a video newsletter. It goes on my blog, and it goes on LinkedIn. And I also hired a LinkedIn content marketer. He's more like a CMO. He's phenomenal, and he'll post every day for 5 days. So basically, I built up this big bank of library, and he finds the stuff that works the best, that gets the most engagement, and he'll rewrite it. And now he's using AI as well to kind of help with that, but he'll really analyze the algorithm and the trends. And so he's posting 5 days a week, but it's my voice. I mean, literally, you would never know it's not me, because it's stuff that I wrote originally. And he just, he sounds better than me sometimes, better than the way I would say it. So that's 5 days a week that he's doing it. And I'm doing 2 days. One of it is a video, and then new content, original, every Thursday. So keeping that consistent schedule has been something we've been doing now since 2020. So it's been 5.5 years consistently with that newsletter, and just kind of like slow and steady, and continue to keep your face out there. That's imperative. It's foundational. One thing that we've been doing that's newer is we've started doing webinars, and in the webinars we do once a quarter, and we'll do free webinars, and it's really, really popular. So last one we had 2,400 people register. Well, it's 2,400 leads, and we have a BDR that we hired that calls them. Now we're getting an AI BDR to offset. It's not even offsetting costs. We just can't keep up with all the leads. It's such a good problem to have, but we're exploring that. We're just doing it this quarter to get an AI BDR that's being launched. But fundamentally, the webinar is like, how can I give so much value? My philosophy is save the best for first. It's like give them intense, immense value up front and draw them in. So the webinar was how to use AI, and I gave them a 17-page prompt library of AI prompts for developing a point of view for enterprise accounts, how to write really hyper-personalized emails to executives that convert, how to empower champions to be able to sell when you're not in the room, and then how to get higher up in accounts where they're current customers, but you're not necessarily aligned with the executives. So very, very specific to tech sales, very tactical. And we gave it away. We gave this prompt library away. I could have sold it, but I didn't. We gave away all the training for it. And we got a ton of clients after that, because we spent probably 10 minutes at the end of the webinar just sharing, hey, AI, here's what AI will do. Here's what AI won't do. It won't make you overcome bad habits. It won't make you, show up fully every day. It won't help you have confidence. It won't help you overcome imposter syndrome. It won't. And I literally talked about every single challenge that sales reps face, because on average, I don't know if you know this, Rob, but sales reps work 2 to 3 hours a day on average on revenue generating activities. And revenue generating activities is an activity that either creates or advances pipeline. That's it. So where's the other 6 or 7 hours going? It's busy work. It's admin work. It's distractions. It's not working at all. And that's the biggest problem people face, is like, they're not really proud of how hard they're working and what they're working on. The days get away from them. So I really lean into some of those things as hey, if you struggle with these, then you probably need coaching, because AI is not the end all be all. And so that's the strategy, is we'll run these webinars and we'll really kind of like hook them into why they need coaching. And if they don't get coaching, they still got a ton of value. And we have a free course. I mean, I just give a lot of like content and assets for free that drive a lot of leads, because they're gated assets. So they have to put their email and their phone number, and then our BDR calls them, of course. And that strategy of like giving a lot of constantly generating assets and webinars, combined with consistent content posting, combined with the BDR and having really powerful sales conversations that are about the person and not about us, and about their goals, their challenges. It's just been a winning combination. And we've seen, our biggest months ever. And I mean, I'm always paranoid that it's not going to continue, but my thing is like, trust the process, just show up, give value every day, stay consistent. And it's worked out really well so far. And it seems to have had a compounding effect.
What also seems like people at the end of the day, especially now, is just, and human beings have always been thirsty for knowledge, but I mean, now in particular, it's at the palm of your hand. I mean, you have the ability to be, oh, wow, Ian's talking about this. I want to know about that. What is it? That kind of insight. And then the ability to have something offered to you, like, hey, listen, I got the insight, but now I actually have a guide. I have something that can move me the right way. Oh my God, I have this right here. And now I can even go further and get coaching if I want to. So I think hitting on those points that you talked about are huge for people wanting to eventually commit.
One more thing I forgot to mention is just being relatable and authentic. I come out and I don't really hide anything. I just shared about my faith and overcoming addiction. And, this stuff is a lot of people don't talk about it, on social media and content. People like to put their best face on. And, it's this guru mindset of like, you only show your best. And for me, that's not what I like. I don't post and create content around the best. I share what I'm going through and the challenges and, what I'm thinking. And I think that relatability, if I think about like why people sign up and what's really working, it's because the message resonates. You got to be real. You got to be authentic. People can see past all the BS. And I just, genuinely think that thought leadership is about like not caring what people think and speaking your truth. And I just posted a video. I literally just made a video and I was like, oh man, this is kind of insensitive. And I didn't want to post it. It's coming out next week, but the video was why COVID was the best year of my life. And I was like, well, do I say that in the thumbnail? Do I say it in the YouTube? 'Cause a lot of people died and it was really painful. It was a horrible year for, I'd say, many people. But what it taught me was that family matters most. With the shutdown, I learned to appreciate what was in front of me. That's when I got into recovery. That's when I really slowed down and learned to be present. And it was the most powerful, learning that I've taken with me ever since then. And so I'm like, well, maybe I changed the title to why what I learned in the shutdown, or what life changing.
What COVID taught me or something. Yeah.
Yeah. So I toned it down a little bit because but like, that's a message that maybe, some people won't say but it's so important. So I just lean into like hard topics that I think are pretty controversial. I've posted a lot against porn. I stopped watching it 5.5 years ago. I think it's damaging for men and marriages. And it's not like sales coaching content. It's not necessarily, but it's more my goal in my program is to help people live without shame and live the life you're proud of. And a lot of these vices or addictions or habits are genuinely things that people do because they're not happy with themselves or they're trying to fill a void. And I believe that I've cracked that code, and a lot of my clients have too. So I talk about it openly, and I just feel like that's the best sales strategy, is being authentic, being real, and trying to serve your clients and really help them and not make it about you and the money you're trying to make as a company. So those things have just been not just successful in my own business, but when I was in sales as well. Those are the things that really worked, is trying to help other people and being real and being authentic. And I just feel like we're missing that in the digital age. People don't know how to have these conversations and relate. And especially, it's just harder now. So I want to teach that stuff.
Yeah, it's like we have all these different ways to communicate, but in a way we become almost very isolated sometimes and forget what human interaction is like. Because a lot of the times, even when you're shopping for something, you're so used to being on your phone and just, I don't need to talk to anybody. I'm just going to go through review. I'm going to do my thing, and then you forget that a lot of these big things like buying a home, buying a car, sales coaching, enterprise deals, just all these things where eventually a client is going to need to speak with an actual professional that actually can communicate these things and answer questions and do everything you're supposed to do. The current world we're in, I think people sometimes forget that that's the way you got to be with these things. And it's not just in a bubble where you can just make all these decisions like this and you have everything that you need. That sales professionals exist for a reason. You know what I mean? For things like that. So, yeah.
100%.
So talk to me about your course. I thought this was really good. I mean, obviously the name Untap Your Sales Potential is, who would want to untap their potential? So talk a little bit about the power of the course, like what it's really all about in terms of someone sees it. Okay, why would I actually want to jump in this thing?
Yeah, I think we don't really focus on the course. It's more the community. So we have it's the Untap Your Sales Potential coaching program, right? So there's different levels of membership. The course is kind of the entry level, where if they just want my content, it's like getting an MBA in sales, but it is self-service. So they have to go through the videos, they have to do the exercises, they do the workbook, and then they get a certification, but they're not actually getting coaching from me live. So that's the entry level. Where we're most focused as a company is on the Untap Your Sales Potential. So it's called Silver and Gold or Platinum program. So Silver program is every week we have, typically I'd say between 100 and 200 people live on Zoom, and I'm teaching them, powerful concepts of sales, and it's broken up into mindset, habits, and selling skills. Right now, we just wrapped up the mindset module, and yesterday I taught how to go from an inward focused mindset to an outward focused mindset, really shifting from I need to win to you need to win, and why that's so powerful for sellers to really understand what the client's goals look like, understand what the client's challenges. I mean, it sounds pretty intuitive, but like most people don't do that. Most people show up, founder-led sellers, they're talking about their product, they're pitching their demo. That's the worst strategy. It's the most ineffective, but that's what 95% of people do in sales. Unfortunately, I don't do that. I don't talk about our product. I talk about what are your goals? What are your specific, what are you trying to accomplish? What's getting in the way? What are the things that you're ashamed of that no one's that no one sees. Like, why don't you feel proud of yourself? And so that's our sales strategy. And that's what we taught yesterday. So we practice having these conversations, people ask questions, and I coach them. And in addition to that, so that happens every week. Then we have office hours where people can come in and bring any of their questions. And I just coach them on what they're going through. We have deal reviews, and we have local meetups. There's a Slack channel. So it really is a community. And then a couple times a year, we get together live in person. We have these transformational retreats. So we had 90 people come to our last retreat in Terranea. And the theme of the retreat is make your scars your superpowers. So we went really deep, and we looked at where people's scars were and how to transcend those and really alchemize them into your biggest strength, right? Make your mess your message. So it was stuff that was very hard to touch for a lot of people. And a lot of people have never had this type of support and acceptance and community. So I like to say we're a safe haven for sellers to get support, coaching, acceptance, and guidance that they need to be successful, because sales is really hard, and there's so much pressure, and there's so much ups and downs. And, and a lot of times you just feel like a number, especially at the bigger companies. And I feel like it's kind of like a program for sales therapy, life coaching, and selling skills, and peer-to-peer support. So the members are meeting up all over the world with each other. We're going to live events. We have the next one coming up in Georgia. The theme is Unstoppable, Build High Performance Habits That Last Forever. So I'm going to talk really about like morning routines and fitness and how to plan your day and the 12-week year. So I'm just basically teaching them everything I know. And we've grown so much now where we have 4 coaches that we have that, if they want to work with me, they have to go do the platinum level. If they want to work one-on-one with one of my coaches, they're at the gold level. And then if they just want the group, we have the silver level. And then the bronze is just the course by itself. So we've really created this tiered model that scales really well. And my goal is, to hire the best coaches in the world that can deliver the same quality of sales coaching that I can. And it's been a journey, because in the beginning it was just me. It was just me doing everything. And now we have a great team of 12 people, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm really proud of our team. It's pretty cool to be part of, such a fast growing company.
Yeah, it's got to have just a wonderful feeling of having a great team, number one, but also, like you said, the community. But also, I bet, like, when you get in there, even though you've got the scaling and the growth and everything's fantastic, but I bet you love it when you get in there, you roll the sleeves up and you're like, okay, all right, let's talk. You know what I mean? You're able to
That's
jump
my
in there.
favorite. My favorite. I hesitate to share this. I'm not going to say any names, but there's some tough conversations, especially with one-on-one. And we had a guy last week who was contemplating suicide. It was my first call with him, and he told me what happened. I'm like, oh man, here we go. And I just was open, and I'm like, normal agenda, what we cover went out the window. It's like, talk to me. And it was active listening. He felt seen, he felt heard, he committed to therapy, and he connected with other people. And it's like, that's why I do what I do, is to help people on the personal side, and seeing like the transformations that occur, not just in the sales, because we got a lot of people making $1 million a year, but more importantly in the personal life, to be able to achieve at the highest level without sacrificing your health or your relationships or your happiness. That to me is the definition of true success. So I just feel like that's the most rewarding thing, is just to get the text messages and the stories of like how people are feeling and how proud they are of themselves, and just this untapping this part of them that was in there the whole time, but they never, felt maybe safe enough or confident enough to really access. So yeah, that's for me. If you go to untapyoursalespotential.com/testimonials, you see hundreds. I think there's 250 now that are there of like life-changing stories. And it's like, yeah, that's really why I do what I do, frankly.
Well, what an incredible time to be in, because, remember back in the day with the one call closes, the white knuckling, they're not talking about you feeling it. I mean, it was just such a different time years ago. You couldn't bring things up, and now it's the exact opposite. Like, to get the best out of you and your teams and everybody, you've got to lean into all these different aspects and talk and ask these questions and get to the root cause of these things, because if not, it's just getting buried, and that's not solving anything. So it's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to leak out somewhere. There's going to be shadow activity. It's going to leak. It's so true. And I don't think that people still feel safe enough in their own companies or with their managers to really share what they're going through. Many people, even though it's not taboo, don't have therapists. They don't have a life coach. So we're kind of like, it's interesting. We're kind of filling that gap in the sales space of giving people this place where they know they're not alone, because salespeople are unique. I mean, you just get so many ADHD people, you get so many addicts, you get so many like money crazed, like kind of, I don't know, it's like an intense type of person that's attracted to the sales profession. So it's like, I found my people, you know. It's definitely a unique breed. We're not a group of engineers. I mean, the engineers are kind of a certain way, but salespeople, they have some unique struggles, and you know, people might say, cry me a river and make all this money, but like mentally, there's a lot of mental health challenges in sales. I think the latest study, it's like 73% of sellers in tech rank their mental health fair or poor. 73%, up from 40% pre-COVID. So it's like, this is needed more than ever. And I think even though people are doing better per se financially, they're not as connected, they're not as happy, they fill a bigger void. And I don't know, hopefully I can do my part to help people feel a little better about themselves and in their world.
Well, Ian, thank you so much for coming in today, man. I mean, you covered so much. I mean, like, and it's just, I think for our audience hearing that, you know, if you're out there in sales or you're a founder or you're in that space of creating and trying to keep up with things, you know, think about the holistic things that Ian was just talking about. And you're kind of like walking, living proof of this working, you know, not only with yourself, but with the community you've created, the courses, the teaching, you know, it's all there to have that inclusive wholeness to it. That's not just isolated and, hey, how's your pitch? How's your close? How's your, you know what I mean? Like, did you hit the numbers today? I mean, it's just so much more than that. So it's amazing what you built, my friend. So thank you for coming in.
Spot on, Rob. That's it. That's just it. Like, selling skills are, we've all been through the one day Sandler workshop or the challenge. It's like you go in and then you forget everything. This is very different. So we've kind of filled an interesting niche for sure. And there's not really competitors. All the sales coaching are just doing sales coaching. They're not doing mindset, habits, personal development. We're like bringing the Tony Robbins stuff. We have a lot of challenges for people and get them out of their comfort zone. I make them do cold plunges, and, you know, we do a lot of that stuff, and we bring it to like face your fears and just develop the confidence. It's pretty fun.
It's amazing, man. This has been one of the best interviews we've done. Ian, thank you so much for coming in. I'm sure the audiences will appreciate it. And all success to you, my friend. You're doing the right work.
I appreciate you, and thanks for having me on.
See you, everybody. We'll see you next episode.
Take care.